الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأصليكم بتحية الأهل الجنة وهي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to another special edition of this program Light of Islam. In our program today we have Ali Adam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah ya Ali Adam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah, Ali Adam is a student of Ma'ahad al-Ansar and he will be giving us some verses from the Quran. فليتفضل يا أخي الكريم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال سننظر أصدقت أم كنت من الكاذبين اذهب بكتابي هذا فألقه إليهم ثم تول عنهم فانظر ماذا يرجعون. قالت يا أيها الملأ إني ألقي إلي كتاب كريم إنه من سليمان وإنه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا تعلوا علي وأتوني مسلمين. قالت يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة أمرا حتى تشهدون. قالوا نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد والأمر إليك فانظري ماذا تأمرين. قالت إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا أعزة أهلها أذلة وكذلك يفعلون. وإني مرسلة إليهم بهدية فناظرة بما يرجع المرسلون. فلما جاء سليمان قال أتمدونني بمال فما آتاني الله خير مما آتاكم بل أنتم بهديتكم تفرحون. ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون. قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بأرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين. قال إفريت من الجن أنا آتيك به قبل أن تقوم من مقامك وإني عليه لقوي أمين. قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك فلما رآه مستقرا عنده قال هذا من فضل ربي ليبلوني أأشكر أم أكفر ومن شكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإن ربي غني كريم.
Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Brother Adam, for that wonderful recitation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and give you the knowledge of Quran.
Amen.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much. Now, before we go for our short break, we are going to be welcoming the Imam of Oshe, who is the Amir of Jibirila, Tukur, Hajj and Umra agency, who is going to be talking to us about Hajj trip, which is our program of the day. Let's have a short break.
وللدار الآخرة خير للذين يتقون أفلا تعقلون.
Welcome back. We have Imam of Oshe with us here, who is the Amir of Jibirila, Tukur, Hajj and Umra agency. You are welcome to this program, Light of Islam, Ya Imam.
Naam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for honoring the invitation on this program, Ya Imam.
I'm honored.
MashaAllah. Ya Imam, we will be discussing on the topic Hajj trip. And you happen to be an Amir of Jibirila, Tukur, Hajj and Umrah agency. And you equally went to Hajj this year with the delegation that you led them from Baminda here. So, Ya Imam, how was the trip?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. It was a successful trip. But even though if we are saying successful, there are some other shortcomings that you must actually encounter. And if you have overcome them, then that is when now you will say it was actually a safe trip. So our departure here from Bamenda, my agency actually went out with a delegation of 27, including myself, 16 women, 11 men. And so the program was also so abrupt that we left, actually we were well prepared. So the season was also not good for us. As we left Bamenda, we arrived Douala late at night, and it was raining.
No.
Actually, we have to stand in verandas or actually somewhere like that. We have to shelter ourselves.
No.
And after praying Subhi, then we started actually to actually prepare for the takeoff.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
It means, was it the first time, or is it an exercise that you've been doing several times?
No, actually with a delegation like this is the first time, but me going there, it's about 21 years, which actually lastly was in Mecca.
Yeah. MashaAllah. So after this rain and all what you encounter on the trip before the takeoff, so what happened next?
Yes, the good thing was that all the pilgrims were answered present.
Yeah.
And then our boarding tickets were actually handed to us with our badges, and then everybody actually, the passports were with me. I distributed them to each one. And then, so from there, we have to give instructions on how we could behave in the field.
Yeah.
And so we also made mufflers to identify ourselves. With women, we gave them himar. We choose a shouting color that actually from far away we could identify ourselves, and then the men also had mufflers that they wore on. So it was delayed. We delayed in the waiting room.
No.
Then finally we went into the plane, seeing people entering their first time. Earlier told them that it just only looked like if you are in the bus.
No.
So we end there was no hitches, and then we said if you have any difficulties like irritation or something like that, you indicate.
No.
And alhamdulillah, nobody had such things too like that.
MashaAllah.
So our travel, we landed in Medina in the early hours. And before we could land, before leaving Douala, there was another problem too. The stomach of one of my pilgrim actually got lost.
Yeah.
And then she was blocked for some time, and then she was allowed. And then, so I'm calling on future pilgrims that whatever you have been given, it is your material, you handle it carefully.
Exactly.
So we landed in Medina, and we prayed subhi there. So we went to our hotel. It was late, around 2 a.m.
The flight was, how long was the flight?
Yes, our flight was about 5 hours, 15 minutes.
I see.
Yeah, 5 hours.
That's Douala, Medina.
Douala, Medina.
MashaAllah.
Nah. We went there with no hitches actually. So we landed about 2 a.m. Yeah. So after actually having everybody installed, I have to use another strategy too. Then I have to identify the route from to the mosque. So while they were resting, I have to run up and then to see half the way towards the masjid of the Prophet. So I went there, saw it, and then one young man was also with me. We traced the road, and we had also marked, because those are signs. We were actually, even we say complicated junctions, we have to pin them there, or with bull markers, we even draw on it. But it was not complicated, and then...
that's the intelligence of the Amir.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. It means the trip was a great one, and everything went well as planned all the way to Medina, and there was no issues. So when you started the work, how was it?
Yes, the hitches that we first of all had in Medina were that everybody wanted to change his money. So they wanted me to go and change their money and bring. I say no. So I identified a bank where we will change the money, and then I restricted that everybody you will change 10,000. So that if you give your 10,000, you count how many reals you have been given. Then so that from there you will make your calculation, and then you will know the value of the real. So that was done. Only we were expecting that we will stay 8 days in Medina, but the program was actually so pressed that we left Medina earlier.
So why do the exchange down in Medina? Could that not be done maybe in Douala, for example, or here?
Yes, there are no reals here, and then people were telling their relatives and that they should change their money to dollars or euros. I was actually strongly refusing that, because you don't know the value of euro. Your money in euro. So if you take your money, you give in euro, you exchange euro. By the time that you go and exchange real, you will not actually know the value.
Exactly.
Yes. So in Medina, the actually interesting thing that touched our hearts with that the azan. You heard the azan and you enter the mosque of the Prophet. And then if you actually go in right inside to the Rawda, you will meet where the grave of the Prophet, and you will see his mimbar. And then you will see where he was living. And then another touching thing that I'm praying that every viewer should actually be present there. Allah should make that they should be present there. We have a hadith that said, if you actually go to Medina and then you extend salam to the Prophet, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah, you are not hearing, but he will answer your salam. So it means that it is a conversation between you and your Prophet.
No.
So we visited the outskirts, and then we visited the Masjid al-Quba.
No.
We also visited Masjid al-Qiblatayn, and we also went to Uhud and then visited the grave of Hamza,
No.
which was actually interesting and heart-touching.
No.
And there too, I saw something that people were actually going to there, and then the stones, all the rocks, people have written their names on it. I don't know who will actually come now to actually make a follow-up to supervise to see that whether you were there. All those things are actually bitter, and then we don't
actually most of those things from what I've seen is when tourists, when they visit a site, they write their name on a particular place where they have bet. Maybe people forgot that they went there for ibadah, and then
actually you see, if people are going to Mecca, they are in three categories.
Yeah.
There is a group of people who actually went there for worship, and there are some other ones who went there to make who do business, marketing and so on. And there are some other people who actually went there so that if they come back, they will say, such a person has gone to Mecca.
Yeah.
So you see, it is a different grouping that will need a lot of education. And then where we had another difficulties and is when we were preparing. When we were actually leaving for Mecca. So as Zul Khulaifa, when we went there, took our bath, and then that is when now we took the Ihram. That is when now the Hajj program is standing fully. So you see, there is no difference. Everybody is, all the men you see is Izar and Rida, the two white clothing. And then in such a way that some people in our groups, we don't know that they had bald heads. So without a cap, you will not easily identify such persons. And then so we have to tie those our signs on the vehicle, and then we have to hold it, and then waving it up for others to actually see, and then come and join us. So we actually the journey from Medina to Mecca, it is not an easy one. The distance is about 410 kilometers. So it is so long, and when we went with Talbiya, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. This was actually what we were actually doing the Talbiya until when we reached Makkah. So as we reached Makkah, it is actually so different in such a way that the population was growing higher than actually what we had in Medina. And then we too identifying us, and then identify. First thing we have to do again, we have to rush now right to see the way from our hotel to the masjid. Alhamdulillah, the collaboration between the three guards that left from the northwest, there was a lot of collaboration within us. So in such a way that Sheikh Khalid, when we were about leaving, so we entrusted all the women so that he should move ahead with the women. And then, so he went there as an old broom. He actually identified our lodgings.
Now, I'm talking about the collaboration. I was going to ask you that because our correspondent, who is in Saudi, that's Ismail Atengong, he equally sent us some footage on how the Sheikh Muhammad Khalid was cautioning the Hujjaj or the future Hujjaj on how they were going to walk and how they were going to shoot the Jamrat and stuff like that. So how was that work?
Yes, that one, we are the three of us, we just agreed that instead of separating the groups, because all of us, we were about 76 of us from the Northwest, so actually separating groups or something like that, all our bosses for Ziyara, we actually took it the same, and then we made Sheikh Khalid to be to lead the group, and all the explanations, he made the explanations, and so he was also good that is good in Fulfulde. There were some other persons who could not understand it. Yeah, so as he did the explanation in English, he actually went into Fulfulde, and that was actually so satisfactory. May Allah reward him abundantly.
Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rab. Ameen. MashaAllah, that was great. So after that, Imam, there were also some footages when you people came, I mean, when you people were to go to go up to the Arafah. So how was the work, and with the temperature and everything during that time?
Yes, so our arrival in Mecca, we have to perform Umrah. That is doing tawaf, and then after the tawaf we went and then we did sa'i, where we ran Safa and Marwa. This was actually Umrah. So on the 8th day of the month, we were prepared now to leave for Mina. So our leaving for Mina was not, we left all our property belongings actually in the hotel, and so we went there, spent a night there, and in the morning we were so blessed that, as unfortunate that the Hajj Commission has arranged everything, the transport. There was no there was no chukrab or this thing, embouteillage or everything, anything like that. So we went actually free to, we went into our tents in Arafat, and we did our supplication, and from where our tent was, we could sight the Mount Arafat, where you have that white signal there, that white symbol there, people going up there. It was just about just a distance of from here to Mobile, from Old Town to Mobile, and people were anxious that they wanted to go there, but they should know, everybody should know that the Prophet did not go there. It is that area where the tents are made, that was actually where he stood Arafat. But if actually people go there, it's actually at their own risk, because there is the harsh sun there, and there is no water there, and then even the first aid there too is actually not all that functional like those who are in the tent, because you have all the doctors there, and all the first aiders are also around there. So some of our persons actually went there, and there is another bad patch of it, that an ugly one too, which
there's no need to bring in that one. So what we want to know is, during that, with shortage of water and stuff, or lack of water and the high sun, did any of your people, I mean, fell sick during that period?
No, not even there is, we cannot say that there is shortage of water, because in the tents where we were, there is actually available water, and if you move out of the tent, alhamdulillah, thanks to the Saudi government in such a way that they made sprinklers.
No.
Sprinkles all over in such a way if you are passing, and then it is actually sprinkling, blowing actually soft air, cool water on you, and then to diffuse the temperature.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. That was great. So after that, you people now went back to Muzdalifah or?
Yes, after the sun set, we actually used the bus, actually went up to Muzdalifah.
No.
Very interesting. Muzdalifah, if you go there, is a field that an empty space, and then everybody.
No.
You have to lie on the ground there.
No.
If you have your mat, you use your mat. If you don't have, then you will not see actually a certain, or see, there were presidents there who were actually, you could not identify them.
No.
Everybody was equal.
No.
And Muzdalifah is another place that will actually reminding you that as you are sleeping, know that one day you will sleep in the bush, meaning that one day you will sleep in your grave.
No.
And everybody who we were there, everybody slept very well.
No.
And then we have to pick pebbles there, stones, 70 stones that we are preparing for Jamrat.
No.
So there was we had some elderly people who were actually not all that fine, that we thought that we would have left them for the vehicle to carry them, but it was not possible. And alhamdulillah, these persons who we actually feared for, we moved with them from Muzdalifah back to Mina. So another interesting thing too that is that as we came to the junction where our camps were, there was a large flag. Actually, they were waving actually a large flag there, Cameroon flag, calling on Cameroon, so that you easily take that junction. If not so, if you follow the flow of the population, you will be lost. And alhamdulillah, all of us, we went back to our base safely without any issues. It's only one lady who actually hit her leg on the floor, and then the nail actually came out, and immediately the medical team attended to her safely.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
That was very great to hear this from you, Ya Imam. Because moving with such a population to a country that you don't master a lot, and then taking them there and bringing them back safely, all we have to do is to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who bestowed that energy on you to lead this group of people from Bamenda.
MashaAllah, yes. So after the pebbles, we stayed there for another 2 days in Mina. Then finally we went back to Mecca, and when we did another tawaful ifada, and then so we were now preparing. Actually, everybody have to rest, and then even though the resting does not mean that hindering you from going to Kaaba and performing your prayer, salat day, and doing tawaf. So we were there actually preparing ourselves. Then that was when now I actually told the delegation, because immediately when we were in Medina, they actually saw things they wanted to buy. I said, no, it is not yet time.
Talking about that, we equally had some images from our correspondent showing after Salatul Isha. That's before your departure back. That's before the performing of Tawaful Wada. So he equally gave us some of those images, and I hope most of our viewers will also be watching those images in this our program.
Mashallah, and I'm also grateful that as we went there, the correspondences and some of the students who actually left Mahat, who are in Mina and in Riyadh, they all came to our assistance in such a way that everything we were just feeling at home. We wanted to ask this, they would say, no, it's this. If we are going, this is how we do it. This is how, actually there was a lot of collaboration between us and the students there.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was wonderful, Ya Imam. We are very happy to have you on Light of Islam and in ARTV, the Voice of Islam. We are really very, very happy to have you with us today, Ya Imam.
MashaAllah. So I don't think when we were actually well prepared, one of the students actually advised us that if we are actually arranging our luggages, we should actually have a portable kilo to actually scale to weigh our luggage so that during the final weighing it will not disturb. So we bought it, and then with them we did the weighing, and then finally when we went for the final weighing, there was no hitches, and so that was how we left Mecca with tears in our eyes. We actually, the work is completed, but actually leaving that area to actually, you are actually touching the heart, even though we have our loved ones back home here. So there were tears of joy and so on that we left. And finally, when we boarded the plane, it was just about to take off. Then another thing to happen in my group, there is another lady who collapsed, and as she collapsed, there was assistance in first aid was offered to her in the plane. Oxygen was applied, and later on they told me that this is a critical case that yes. So we were fortunate that it happened before the flight. So she remained in Jeddah. Unfortunately, her grandson also was with her, granddaughter, who remained behind with her, and then after she has been treated by the Saudi authorities, and then the ambassador of Cameroon also visited her, and so that was actually heart-touching. And finally she came back to Yaoundé, rested for about 5 days, and Alhamdulillah she has come back to Bambili and is there now with the family doing so well. So here now also want to advise those who are actually hoping for this type of trip. I think the preparation should start now. The preparation should start now by actually obtaining your passport, and then you can meet us also, that you can start actually depositing, start paying your flight fees, so that we can issue receipts and so on, so that by the time that it is ripe for the journey, you will not stress your pockets.
Now, what I understand here is you are saying that people that intends to perform Hajj, you can start your preparations as of now, and then that the agency is open, that for anybody who is coming in now to prepare for his next Hajj. Is that what you are trying to
Yes,
do?
that is it. Actually, we have got about some 2 persons who have actually started, who they have, because they showed me their passports. Their passports are ready. So actually they have started actually depositing in something for
it. Very interesting. It means that the money that is used for that, people can be coming in and paying in gradually.
Gradually.
Mashallah. That is a very great opportunity.
Mashallah. And also, we used to have people who are going for Umra during Ramadan.
No.
that from here they actually go with some other persons in Yaoundé or something like that.
No.
But inshallah, we are preparing. We are thinking that if Allah gives us the people, that we have the people who are going, our agency will lead them right through, actually, in such a way that the language barrier that they had will not be a difficulty to them.
MashaAllah. Yeah, Imam, thank you very much for honoring this invitation. Yeah, Imam, a lot of people that have just watched you on this program will be very happy to see that you went successfully with the people and then come back together, and you are here to explain to them how the journey was. So we are equally very happy to have you here on this program, Light of Islam.
Thank you very much. Actually, my thanks goes to the Almighty Allah and also to the authorities of ARTV. May Allah bless this station to actually make it look bigger and to give more wisdom to the crew and enlarge the team too, and then to solve and then may Allah soften the difficulties through that they are encountering.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, Imam.
MashaAllah.
Due to time, we will be ending this our program, and I want to thank the technical crew, thank our televiewers enormously for watching this program, Light of Islam. I equally want to thank our director, Sheikh Abu Umar, for offering us this platform to be running this kind of programs to propagate Islam. See you in our subsequent episode. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا رب ثبتنا على الإيمان واجعلنا هداة التائه الحيران وأعزنا بالحق وانصرنا به نصرا عزيزا أنت ذو السلطان وعلى رسولك أفضل الصلوات والتسليم منك وأكمل الرضوان وعلى صحابته جميعا والأولى تبعوهم من بعد بالإحسان